Let me guess exactly how your day starts. The alarm goes off, and before you even open your eyes, you already feel the weight. It's not that healthy physical exhaustion from running a marathon or hauling rocks all day where your muscles just need to rest. It's something else. It's a thick, toxic gray fog blanketing your brain. Technically, you slept 7 or 8 hours, but it feels like your mind spent the entire night running from an invisible danger in a dark forest. And the brutal truth is, it did. There's a type of exhaustion that a beach vacation won't fix, that sleeping in until noon on Sunday won't cure, that massages and painkillers won't touch. It's the chronic exhaustion of living in defense mode 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Your brain is like a computer running a heavy, poorly optimized program in the background at all times. That program is called How Am I Going to Pay the Bills? It never closes. It never minimizes. It hogs 90% of your RAM. It drains your emotional battery before lunch. It eats up your creativity at work, making you a mediocre employee. It consumes your patience with your kids, making you an irritable parent. It kills your libido and your joy for life, making you an absent partner. You aren't getting less intelligent or less capable with age. You aren't old. You just have an operating system overloaded by a virus running in an infinite loop. Most people and most financial gurus think financial stress is a math problem. They think you're stressed because column A, or income, is smaller than column B, expenses. But that's a simplistic lie. I know people who make $200,000 a year, live in mansions, drive luxury cars, and take prescription pills to sleep because they can't turn off the panic. And I know people who make 50,000, live simple lives, and sleep like babies. The difference isn't the bank balance. The difference is the mental architecture and the sovereignty over one's own territory. You know that visceral feeling. It's Saturday night, you're at a pizza place with friends or family. The atmosphere is happy, there's music, there's laughter. You're sitting there at the head of the table, smiling, nodding, but you aren't really there. Your body is in the chair, but your soul has been kidnapped. Under the table, in the dark corners of your mind, an invisible calculator is running. You're looking at the menu, and you're not choosing what you want to eat. You're choosing based on the price. You're choosing what fits the budget that already blew up last week. You see your kid ask for an extra juice, and instead of feeling joy in providing, you feel a sting of irritation and guilt. You're calculating if the gas tank will last until the 5th. You're breaking into a cold sweat worrying if the waiter is going to bring the card reader and the card will be declined in front of everyone because you've hit your limit. That's not living. That's just existing with anxiety. That's being a prisoner inside your own head. You're missing your children's childhood memories. You're losing the connection with your spouse. You're losing your life, trading precious moments for survival math. I'm Buck, and if you want to shut down that goddamn mental calculator and start being present in your own life again, we need to have a very serious talk, man to man, about what true financial peace actually means. Forget the bank commercials with smiling people. Financial peace isn't about getting rich and buying a yacht. It's about being free. It's about silence. Today, I'm going to teach you how to shut down that background program. We're going to talk about how to build the only thing money actually buys that matters: mental silence. The first step out of this psychological hell is understanding that you aren't fighting a lack of money. You're fighting a lack of options. Anxiety is the child of helplessness. When you have no money saved, you have no choice. You're forced to take whatever life, your boss, the government, or the bank throws in your face. If the car breaks down, it's an absolute crisis. If the boss yells and humiliates you, you put your head down and say, "Yes, sir," because you have to pay rent. If a tooth aches, you suffer through it and take painkillers because you can't afford the dentist. This lack of agency, this feeling of being a leaf in the wind, is what generates cortisol, the stress hormone that's corroding your arteries and killing you slowly. To reclaim your life and your dignity, we need to build 5 defense blocks. These aren't magic, mystic, or quantum steps to becoming a millionaire tomorrow. These are tactical, infantry-level steps to stop the bleeding today. The first block I call the impact shield. The world calls it an emergency fund, but I think that name is weak and passive. Emergency sounds like you're sitting around waiting for a disaster to happen. The impact shield is active. It's a physical, monetary barrier between your peace of mind and the random chaos of the universe. Most people think the first step to peace is making more money. Wrong. The first step is having $1,000 sitting in an account that you don't touch, don't look at, and don't spend. Just $1,000. Does that sound like a little? Does it seem irrelevant? To your reptilian brain, the amygdala, the most primitive part of your brain that detects predator threats, that $1,000 is the difference between life and death. Let's look at the neuroscience. When you have zero in the bank and a tire blows out on the highway, your body goes into total panic. The sympathetic nervous system fires up, adrenaline hits the bloodstream, pupils dilate, heart races. You think, how will I get to work tomorrow? If I don't go, I lose pay. How will I pick up the kids? Will I have to borrow money from my father-in-law and listen to a lecture? Will I have to use my overdraft and pay 300% interest? A $200 mechanical problem turns into a 3-day existential and moral crisis. You fight with your wife, kick the dog, and don't sleep. Now, rewind the tape. Imagine the same scene, the same blown tire, the same rain, but now you have the impact shield. You have $2,000 sitting in the bank. The tire blows. You get out of the car in the rain. You look at it. Are you annoyed? Of course, nobody likes changing a tire in the rain, but you don't panic. Your heart keeps its normal rhythm. You think, okay, this sucks. This is going to cost me $200. I have the money. Tomorrow I'll stop by the shop, get it replaced, pay cash, and it's handled. You pay, you fix it, you move on. What was a Greek tragedy became just a logistical inconvenience. This shift from tragedy to inconvenience is the beginning of real peace. You stop walking through life on eggshells, afraid that any gust of wind will knock down your house of cards. You start walking with more firmness, with the posture of someone who has their own back. You sleep better because you know if the world throws a punch tomorrow, you have a shield to catch the blow and keep standing. The second block is terrain reconnaissance. The world calls this expense tracking or budgeting. People hate this part. They say it's boring, restrictive, and sucks the spontaneity out of life. They say they'd rather not look at the statement because looking makes them anxious. They prefer to live in ignorance, hoping the balance doesn't go negative. That is the most dangerous, childish thing you can do. It's the ostrich effect. Sticking your head in the sand doesn't make the lion go away. It just leaves your backside exposed for the attack. Ignoring the problem doesn't make it disappear. It makes it grow in the dark, like a fungus. Anxiety doesn't come from knowing you spent too much. Anxiety comes from not knowing. Fear lives in uncertainty, in the shadows, in the doubt. When you don't know where your money goes, you feel like a victim of the system. You say things like, money just slips through my fingers, or I don't know what happens. I get paid, and it's gone. You put yourself in a position of total powerlessness. Terrain. Reconnaissance is simple and brutal. Take your statements from the last 30 days, print them out, get a red pen, go through it line by line, no moral judgment, no beating yourself up or calling yourself stupid. Just look at the naked truth. Oh, here's $400 in streaming subscriptions and apps I don't even remember the password for. Here's $300 in coffee, snacks, and Uber Eats that I could have made at home for a tenth of the price. Here's that impulse buy on Amazon at 2 a.m. that's now sitting in the back of the closet gathering dust. The exact moment you see the enemy, you regain power. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the general making decisions. You can look at that subscription and say, I don't want this anymore. Cancel. Boom, money back. You can look at the food spending and say, I'm going to cook more and bring a lunch. Decide. Act. Control brings immediate calm. Knowing exactly what's coming in and going out eliminates the monster in the closet. You don't have to guess and pray if the card will clear at the grocery store. You know, and knowledge is power. Clarity is the first step towards sovereignty. The third block is stopping the hemorrhage. We're talking about toxic debt. Not all debt is created equal, and you need to understand the difference. Your mortgage, if well planned and affordable, is a roof over your head. A student loan, if it gave you a career that pays well, is an investment in human capital. But revolving credit card debt, personal consumer loans, and payday loans, that is financial cancer. That is necrosis. These debts aren't financial tools, they are mousetraps. They were mathematically designed by statistical geniuses to keep you trapped forever, pedaling a stationary bike. When you owe money at 20, 30, or 100% interest per year, you aren't paying a debt. You are paying a tax on your existence. You are working Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday just to pay the bank's profit. As long as you have a credit card balance rolling over month to month, you will never, ever have peace. It is physically impossible, because deep down in your mind, in your subconscious, you know you're losing the game. You know that with every passing day, the hole gets deeper and the walls get higher. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole the size of a tennis ball in the bottom. You work, you sweat, you pour water in, and it leaks out through compound interest. Eliminating this debt isn't just a mathematical optimization decision, it's a spiritual decision. It's a decision of freedom. It's about reclaiming ownership of your future time. I know people, grown men, who paid off their last credit card installment and cried like children. They cried from pure relief. They said it felt like a 100-pound concrete weight had been lifted off their chest. They could take a deep breath for the first time in years. If you have this debt, declare total war on it. Don't treat it as normal. Oh, everyone has debt. To hell with everyone. Everyone is broke and miserable. It's not normal. It's a medical emergency. Sell things you don't use, work overtime, take side gigs on the weekend, cut everything superfluous, cancel everything. Attack that debt with ferocity and hatred until it vanishes from the face of the earth. The peace you feel when the balance hits zero is worth any temporary sacrifice of comfort. The fourth block is the reclaiming of confidence. Financial peace isn't just external security, it's internal confidence. It's knowing you are capable of handling life, no matter what it throws at you. Most people feel financially powerless. They think money is some mysterious thing that happens to them, not something they control. They think investing is for rich, smart people in suits, not for them. They have a learned defeatist mentality. You build confidence with small wins, brick by brick. When you save your first $1,000 in your impact shield, something changes in your self-image. You look at the balance and think, wait a second, I did it. I said no to immediate spending, I had discipline, and I saved this. I am capable. I'm not out of control. When you pay off the first debt and see your name cleared, you think, I beat the bank. I am strong. I reclaim my territory. These small victories stack up and create a psychological snowball effect. Confidence creates momentum. You start walking with your head held high. This confidence overflows into other areas of life. You become more confident at work because you know you have control over your finances and you aren't desperate. You negotiate your salary better. You carry yourself better in meetings. People can smell confidence, just like they can smell fear and desperation. When you know you have your own back with your own money, you operate at a higher level of existence. You stop being a scared passenger in the back seat of your own life and take the wheel with a firm grip. The fifth and final block is the frequency shift, moving from survival mode to growth mode. This is pure cognitive neuroscience. There's a concept called bandwidth tax. When you live paycheck to paycheck, worried about whether you can pay the electric bill, your brain operates in tunneling. You can only see what is immediately in front of you. Today's bill, tomorrow's problem, this week's crisis. Your functional IQ drops by as much as 13 points. You literally become less intelligent. You make worse, more impulsive decisions because you don't have the mental bandwidth to think long term. When you build the impact shield, when you eliminate toxic debt, when you take control, the tunnel opens up. Peripheral vision returns. The fog clears. Suddenly you start to see opportunities that were always there, but you were too blind and too busy surviving to notice. You realize you can learn a new technical skill to earn more per hour. You see an investment opportunity in real estate or the stock market that makes sense. You get an idea for a side business that can generate extra income. Your mind, which used to spend 100% of its energy and processing power trying not to sink, is now free to build a boat and sail. That is true peace. It's not sitting on a beach drinking coconut water doing nothing. It's the peace of knowing you are building your future instead of just running from your past. It's the peace of knowing that if you lose your job tomorrow, you have 6 months or a year of life guaranteed to find something better instead of having to accept the first humiliating low-wage job that comes along out of pure desperation. Financial peace changes who you are as a human being. It makes you a better father because you aren't snapping at the kids due to hidden stress you brought home from work. It makes you a better partner because money stops being the reason for 90% of marital arguments. It makes you a better professional because you work for purpose, competence, and choice, not out of fear of the whip. But here's the dirty secret nobody wants to accept, and it's why so few succeed. This process is incredibly boring. There is no glamour in it. Nobody is going to applaud you on Instagram because you saved $1,000 and left it in a savings account. Nobody is going to throw you a surprise party because you paid off your credit card and stopped paying interest. It is silent, lonely, slow, and repetitive work. You're going to have to say no to fun things your friends are doing. You're going to have to cook at home and wash dishes when you wanted to go out to dinner. You're going to have to wear those old sneakers a little longer while everyone else buys the new ones. You're going to have to look at spreadsheets and statements while your friends look at Netflix and football. Most people aren't willing to pay that price. They want peace, sure, but they don't want discipline. They want the result, the financial athlete's body, but they don't want to go to the gym and lift weights. They prefer the sweet illusion of immediate consumption and the bitter reality of eternal anxiety. But you aren't most people. If you've listened this far, if you've toughed out hearing these truths, it's because you feel there's something more. You know, in the depths of your soul, that life shouldn't be this endless, exhausting rat race until the day you have a heart attack. Financial peace is available to you now, today. It doesn't require you to win the lottery or receive an inheritance. It doesn't require you to be a Wall Street genius or have an economics degree. It only requires you to be intentional. It requires you to stop, look at your life in the mirror and say, enough, it's over. I will no longer live in fear. I no longer accept being a slave. I am going to build my shield and reclaim my territory. Start with the first step, no matter how small. Scrape together $1,000. Sell whatever you need to sell. Work the weekend. Do whatever is necessary, legal, and ethical to put that shield between you and the chaos. After that, attack the debt like your life depends on it. Then build the future. The feeling of putting your head on the pillow at night, in the dark, and knowing that no matter what happens tomorrow, rain, shine, crisis, layoff, you and your family will be safe, fed, and protected. That feeling is worth more than any new car, any designer clothes, any gold watch, or any expensive dinner. That feeling is true wealth. And it isn't for sale in stores. It is built brick by brick, decision by decision, no after no, day after day. The mental silence you desperately seek won't fall from the sky. It is won in the trenches of daily discipline. But I know exactly what happens when the screen goes dark and the video ends. The adrenaline drops. The routine returns. Real life knocks at the door with its temptations. The bill arrives. Instagram shows you something cool to buy. And you ask yourself, okay, Buck, I get the theory. I want this piece. I need this piece. But what exactly do I do tomorrow morning? Where do I start cutting? How do I stay focused on a rainy Tuesday when the urge to spend just to take the edge off the stress kicks in? Discipline is hard to maintain alone. The entire system, from advertising to the bank's algorithm, was designed to make you fail, spend, and go into debt. The world conspires against your sovereignty. You need a field guide. You need clear battle orders. You need a method. I can't be there at your house, sitting on the couch, to hold your hand and snatch the credit card out of it, but I can give you the map to the gold mine. I've compiled the exact step-by-step protocol I use to climb out of the black hole of stress and build my financial sovereignty. It's not a book of complex economic theories that put you to sleep and don't work in real life. It's a tactical combat manual for real people. It's called The Order of the Day: 365 High Impact Actions for Your Financial Sovereignty. It's simple, direct, and brutally effective. One mission per day. One small victory per day. Today, you're going to negotiate this specific bill and save $50. Tomorrow, you're going to sell that idle item and make $100. The day after, you're going to armor this part of your budget against the unexpected. Step by step, day after day, without overwhelming you, but without letting you stop. It is the antidote to inertia. It is the tool to turn vague intention into concrete action and measurable results. If you want to stop just wishing for peace and start building it with your own hands, brick by brick, the link is in the first pinned comment. Don't leave it for later. Later becomes never, and never is where bitter regret lives. Get your copy, receive your order of the day, and begin your journey back to absolute control over your life. I want to hear from you in the comments, and be honest, what is keeping you up at night right now? Is it a specific debt that won't end? Is it the lack of a cushion that makes you feel insecure? Is it the fear of an uncertain future? Write it down below. Taking the monster out of the shadows of your mind and putting it on paper is the first step toward killing it. If this video helped you see a way out of the maze of stress, leave a like. It helps the message reach others who are suffering in silence and think there's no way out. Subscribe to the channel to keep receiving strategies from someone who refuses to be a victim of the system. Keep your numbers clear and your soul free. I'm Buck. I'll see you in the trenches.